Hello everybody, it is I, Vocab, doing a post-commentary on purpose instead of what I normally do, which is I screwed up and am having to do this, but nope, I actually meant to record with the microphone off, and I was an idiot and I started recording on the loading screen, so that's why we're here. So welcome to the post-episode of Psychonauts. I need to move my mic. I need to turn down my computer volume because that's louder than I thought it would be. Alright, so we're going to just real quick, we're going to look at what we need. So we got a one psi card and a challenge marker missing here. When we get into some more useless stuff, I'll stop talking about what we're doing, but as I remember, there's a thing like right here. We already have infinite powers. No, we don't. I'm lying. I'm mixing it up. There were 2 episodes. Of course we don't have infinite powers. I'm thinking of when I was getting the last achievements. I have, since these recordings, done the other 3 achievements I didn't get from playing this Let's Play. It took maybe a combined 10 minutes. Alright, so there's that. God, come on game, run well. It's fine, it's a big video. So while I'm doing that and getting my bearings and I'll talk to several characters. If there's a cutscene, I might shut up and let you hear it. I may just, depends on how important I think it is. Because you can find all the characters in the post-game. I actually don't find all of them in this gigantic-ass video. But I find most of them. If memory serves, I could not find Compton and the book lady, and I could not find what's-her-face, the hot streak. Hollis, and Cassie is who I'm thinking of. So I'm just equipping the magnet because I am aware one of the achievements I need to get in the game at this point still is to fill up the wallet. Something I recommend you do before you buy a bigger wallet so that you don't have to collect 5,000 Psychonauts like I did. Although I will tell you, the way I did it is you literally just run around this atrium collecting all the ones you can get. You go back to the lobby, you come back up. So I thought about recording this live, but there's so many cuts in this episode that I just decided to not do that. So yeah, I'll go from, you won't see me hit 5,000. I think by the end of this video I'll be at like maybe 2,000. Right now I'm just looking around. Towards the part of this I do start to use a guide just because I'm not willing to put in the time. But I'm going to go ahead and move past what's happening in the video and start rambling about other stuff. The real stuff you're here to listen to. So last time in my post-commentary I ranked the Psychonauts levels, and then I made guesses for what happens in Psychonauts 2. So I will be doing the same in this episode. I will go through my rankings for all the episodes, or all the levels, not the episodes. God, I'm not going to rate my own LP. That'd be weird. It'd be like masturbating. And then I will talk about my final thoughts for Psychonauts 2, and then it didn't matter. And then I'll talk about my predictions that did and didn't come true, and then that will tie into my final thoughts on Psychonauts 2. So at the end, at the very back, do we get Gmail for this? No, we already had it. It's weird. So just a reminder, quick run through. Let me put my mic thing there. So every level gets a score out of 40. And when you hear how I rank the score, you're gonna be like, uh-oh, because you're gonna see what I saw as I went through this. So the first one is out of 10 points, how much I like the level design, how cool it is, how interesting it is. I think that's one thing Psychonauts has over a lot of these action platformer games is the trippy weirdness of stages. This is the one that killed this game for me. The humor is ranked, is category 2. So how funny is it? Simple as that. Or is it even trying to be funny? Which is, I think, what a lot of this game suffers from. Oh, and right here, I believe, yes, I'm going to be getting a scavenger hunt item, which is if I can pick up the bowling ball. So you just have to keep bowling, and then eventually a deck of cards will come out of the, instead of the ball. I don't know what decides it. but I just kind of throw the ball around and eventually some cards come out.
I don't get.
And those guys are way too close to the bowling balls. So number 3 is gameplay, so is the level actually fun? And then lastly is the soul/memorability, which is really where I give it like my personal score out of 10, and then we add it up to get a real score. But it's, you know, do I think this thing will last? Do I think it's notable? Blah, blah, blah. And so I believe this next throw is when we get it, and then I'm going to have to shut up because then we talk to Sasha and Mika. So you see the ball like holds there for a second. And that might be the signal because then we get the deck of cards.
I'm sure Nona won't miss this old group.
So if memory serves, we're going to talk to Sasha and me, so I will shut up and sip my beverage while I talk to them and see if the one true pair are the OTP.
Agent 9, Vodello.
Oh, hello, fellow Psychonauts.
Yes, that's right, Agent Aquato.
I like the sound of that. Agent Aquato.
This is the greatest moment of my life. Are you both hanging around here or going back to camp?
Well, I did leave my car there.
And there's a new batch of children coming in a week.
There's more kids coming to Whispering Rock this summer?
Of course.
Whispering Rock is one of the main revenue makers for the Psychonauts these days.
What's going to happen to Crystal Malik?
I need to run some experiments on him.
You mean tests, Sasha?
Oh, yes, therapeutic test. Mostly harmless.
Remember the time
I
we
don't know
fought
why
up
you
those brain
talk about
tanks?
that.
That was cool.
Oh, that feels like 20
Get it?
years ago.
That reminds
Get
me,
it?
I need to
20
get back
years.
to my lab. Lobato should be waking up any moment.
You left Dr. Lobato tied up in your lab?
Not tied up. I just used the brain tumbler to sedate him.
Wow. That
And we'll see.
See you next mission.
Get some
There
rest,
you go.
young man.
Take a break
And thank
from all
you
these
for
video
all
games.
your help, darling.
Alright, so at number, so we're going to go from my least favorite level to my most favorite. And by least favorite, I mean lowest scoring, because I think personally I like some of these levels more than other levels, but this is to be objective. And you say, well, when you put it on paper, it doesn't actually look like I like this very much. And I believe here I'm getting another scavenger hunt item, which is, yes, that's what I'm doing. So all these green screens.
And Helmet's brain.
I am doing that. We talked to Bob. They talk.
What are you two up to?
We're planning our mission to rescue Helmet's body in Grulovia.
And after that, we're gonna buy a treadmill and
Zing.
rescue Poppy's body.
So by talking to the, by going up to the green screen, interacting with it, it'll do another one. You follow the screens around. You get, I think it's like ice cream. Okay, again, the list I'm gonna run out of video. So at number 10, we have Cassie's collection, a library slash like smuggling, or not smuggling. I can't remember the word for it. Forgery level, the book level. For level design, I gave it a 6. I thought it was very strange. It's very much 2 levels, just kind of tied together because it's supposed to be. I don't really get it. But you know, it was neat, so I gave it a 6. I thought the book stuff was kind of like yawn to me. Like when you're just walking the book, it was like this is just like the Hollis X-ray thing. It's like what? You're not really doing anything. You're showing off like a different graphic for 20 seconds. Like whatever.
Granted.
For humor, I gave this level a 1. Because all of the humor is from conversations you have to sit in and just talk and not play the game, and they're not like short little cutscenes. It's like dialogue boxes, and I got very sick and tired of the dialogue boxes in this game.
Hey, what are you and the sandwich talking about?
So I did not think it was particularly funny, and then all the other puns are like worm puns. There's like a Karen calling the police dragon, and like, I don't know, the humor for that stage, to me it was worse than not even trying to make a joke. It was making bad jokes. So that's why it got a 1. I don't know if there's other ones of the humor. So for gameplay, I gave this a 6. And I put here, I'm writing this one in the script 5th. All the levels are rated 5th, and now it's number 10. And at this point it came to my attention that, no wait, here's our teaser for Psychonauts 3. As much of a teaser as we're going to get.
Dr. Lobato, where do you think you're going?
The green man told me to wait in the brain bumbler.
That's not the brain tumbler.
Oh, I guess I'm escaping then. Bye! I? Please don't tell. You know I'm a reformed man. You were there. You saw me. Plus, I need to get back to camp. I left my kid there.
Wait, what?
There we go. Okay. I don't remember if there's a blue kid or not, but we'll move past that. I'm about to go in the Brain Tumbler and beat, I think, Good Fable and Follies, which I don't have a lot to say about. So anyway, for gameplay, I basically realized almost every level in Psychonauts 2 plays more or less the same. You have most of the powers for most of it. I didn't think any of them were particularly amazing, so I just said most of them fall between a 6 and a 7. I gave this one a 6 because, honestly, I thought like the little paper thing was just kind of a waste of a power. Kind of like clairvoyance in the first game. It's like more of a meme than anything. And then for soul/memorability, I gave it a 3. I'll remember this for adding the voice of Gur to the game for the Gur Invader Zim thing. But going into it, I really thought it was going to be like a B level, and I, for some reason, was very excited about the concept of a B level. So for it to be a library level, I was already kind of disappointed. And I just, also to top it off, I thought the power was kind of lame. Because it's basically clairvoyance, but less funny. Because it's trying to be funny. Like clairvoyance, you know, you use it on something, you see the squirrel sees you as a monster, you see when you're holding the plunger, they see you as the janitor or whatever. This is like you have an annoying thing that's going like, I'm so random and funny, like laugh at me, and like, you know. So it turns out, when I was freaking out about missing something in or how everything was in the gift shop, there was one thing I missed in the Fall of Brulovia. I missed one of the emotional baggages, which I will be going to get, obviously, in this video. I still like how the game stutters every time you, what's it called? Every time you use the teleporters. It does not like the teleporters. So in total, Cassie's collection got a 15 out of 40. So I went back and I looked at how everything lined up to Psychonauts 1. So the worst level in Psychonauts 2 is better than my least favorite level in Psychonauts 1 because Gloria's Theater got a 14 out of 40. This is a 15. And when I look at it, that seems right because to me, okay, there's all the figments in the game. So all the figments were here at least. I'm very happy to not have to go get any more figments. Now I gotta hunt down that emotional baggage. Everything else is done. Right. So they're very similar stages to me.
Hopefully rethinking
for some reason they're both about tall women. I don't know, maybe I hate tall women. I have no idea. I haven't played that Resident Evil game yet to find out. If I ever play, don't hold me to that. Okay, so we're gonna go number 9. Which just proves I'm a misogynist, because all the women's stages are at the back. Because it's Hollis's classroom / hot streak. For level design / coolness. Oh, and I had to lump some levels together just to make it so there was like 15 stages. And this fight actually kind of kicks my ass a little bit if I remember right. I came back here later because I needed the achievement to use a dream block, and I was like, where's somewhere where the game can beat my ass? No, but that is a good spot. So I gave it a 7. Much like Cassie's collection, I wasn't too fond of this level, but for this one I have to at least admit the stage design is cool, so I will not take away points from it in the stage design. I really like the back parts, like the behind-the-scenes things. I thought those were pretty cool. I thought they were very well designed. You have like the weird space crystal lockings you gotta shoot through and all that crap. Very cool looking. I didn't like the, as I said just a minute ago, I did not like the X-ray bits, but those were very short. So that wasn't too bad. For humor, you see, you're going to learn why they all have bad scores, and it's because all the humor scores are very low. For the humor, I give it a 2. My comment is, the jokes were about rich people struggling to have babies, and like Hollis is a tightwad, but then you make her want to gamble, which is so crazy. This is sort of, I was writing this one very early on, so my comments may seem like they're not in good order, but as I already said, for me the humor in this game is definitely toned down a little bit. I think part of it is they want you to take Hollis seriously, Whereas in Psychonauts 1, you're not really supposed to take anyone whose mind you enter all that seriously. In Psychonauts 2, they want you to care. So you're not allowed to have, like, goofy minds. So you have to, like, all of those have to be more serious. Except for, you know, this level where all, you know, where they're trying to make fun of him. Because, I'll save that for when I talk about this level. I have comments about this level, but it sort of ties into the political over, either or tones. And I didn't even remember doing this, but apparently we did this. Because I was like, oh, this must be where the secret I missed is. And then I was like, no, there's nothing there. So I gave it a 2. So gameplay, I gave it a 6. It's fine. I like the thought jumping. So technically speaking, like base gameplay would be a 5, but everything in this has better than base gameplay. So I got a 6. I like the slinging from thought to thought. The only thing I'll say is I was disappointed by the rest of the game because there was never another time where you actually connected thoughts, and I thought that was going to be the case. Instead, it's like, oh, connect thoughts, and then it's like, oh, well, guess what? Turns out connecting thoughts is more of just like hopping from meaningless bubble to meaningless bubble. You're not going to do anything again like you did on the Hollis stage, which is fine, I guess, but I think that would have been cool if there were more stages where you had to connect thoughts. But I guess you weren't supposed to do that anymore. I guess that's what we were supposed to have learned, is not to like persuade people. And we did this already, so we don't have to worry about that. So I got a 6 on gameplay. Then Soul Such memorability, and we'll talk more about Hollis when I talk about my overall view of the game. I gave it a 4. I think it's more memorable than the Cassie's, what is it called? Cassie's Collection, but I don't... If Hollis had done more in the game and mattered more, I think I would have cared more about this stage. But, like, she doesn't really do anything for the rest of the game. Like, once you get back from her stage is when you're kind of let loose. And we only really see her again in, like, the end-game cutscene. For no real reason. She's just not there. I mean, it's part of... Oh, this is the cut, by the way. So I figure out where the luggage is. You have to jump into this thing. And then go into it. And there he is. And that's going to be all the emotional baggage. So the rest of this is going to be me running around getting cards and bullshit. So I don't know if I'll have as much to say. Oh, there's some dialogue. I gotta keep going. We're already at 20 minutes, and I'm only at number 8. Number 9. So anyway, the Vegas stuff is cool. Other than that, I don't think it's very memorable. I gave it a 19 out of 40, and it is ranked 9th. Number 8 is Bob's Bottles. Level design / coolness. I give it a 9. Again, I actually didn't like this level very much, but I like the design a lot. It makes me want Double Fine to make a game where you ride a boat around and go island to island. I thought that was very cool, very chill. Like, just play some like cool music. You're just like a guy on a little boat, and you just sail from island to island, and do whatever. Just do it. It's cool. Humor. Gave it a 2. There's Oleander, by the way.
Hey, Coach.
That's that.
Really getting some use out of
Humor,
that
give it a
swimming
2 because what are the jokes? The joke is that the potato is sad and he burps and he throws up. That's the joke. Not funny, but they did at least try to make a joke. So there's that. Gameplay, I gave it a 7. Oh, this is me doing 2 things in the wrong order. So there's a card up there. There's the last card for in here. And then I'm actually going to leave and then come right back in because one of our scavenger hunt items is behind that. And I don't know that until later. Like, I'm going to cut and then literally cut right back to going in. And I'm getting a scavenger hunt item. So that's me going, I'm going to go cut. But with that, we're done with the mother lobe. It's just some scavenger hunt stuff. And I'm looking to see what we need. So it's the enemy surveillance device that we're going to get. Okay, so level design, I give it a 9. Humor, I gave it a 2. Gameplay, I gave it a 7. As I said, you have all the powers, you get to use them. Unfortunately, the stage is just a bunch of different straight hallways you walk down. The boat part is really cool, but then it's like, oh, you go in a line. And then you leave, and then you go to the next bottle, and you go in a line. And then Soul Such memorability, I gave it a 1. And I said, this level to me is like the most soulless stage because they don't let you naturally feel anything. Everything on that level that you feel, you are told to feel. You have to walk slowly when he's proposing to Bob. You have to hear over and over that his mom's an alcoholic, get beat over the head with it. It's very annoying. And okay, now it's just me cutting in more cards, and I don't have a lot to say during this stuff, so you'll just see where cards are, and you go, okay, that's where a card is. So we're on top of the treehouse. So it made me upset because I think it's very manipulative. I don't like it. I don't like when movies do it. I don't like it when TV shows do it. I don't like it when video games do it. I don't want you to tell me how to feel. I want you to show me something and then let me feel it. And I put here, my go-to for Psychonauts 1 is when you're in Mia's brain and you go into the spot she doesn't want you to go in. And all she says is, you're not supposed to go in there. And then you get to see what happened, and then you get to feel how you feel. Mia doesn't go like, oh, like, what was me, but I'm better now. No, the game just shows you, and then you feel what you want to feel. The Bob level is like, you should feel bad for Bob. Over and over and over and over again, you should feel bad for Bob. Why aren't you feeling bad
What you doing,
for
Tim?
Bob?
Well,
And
it's been a long day.
I'm just not a fan of being told to do, because I think Bob is a very pitiable character. He's had a very rough
That
life.
sounds refreshing.
But when the game shoves it down your throat, it doesn't click for me. And if you look at Let's Play, I think all the episodes of Bob's are titled like subtlety or like obvious, because it's like the game is not subtle at all. It is very much trying to force you to feel how it wants you to
If it
feel.
isn't my
Like, I thought when it was doing his vows that I was slow walking because I was
Making any
lightly holding the
gadgets
controller,
lately?
only to find out, no, the game
Actually,
actually
I'm
makes
thinking
you
of a whole new
slow walk.
line of gadgets.
Which,
Gadgets that open
Just-
up the mind.
I don't really care what
inspiration.
Otto says. You can
Like
read what he's
in
saying.
the
Fuck
old
Otto.
days.
He's a stupid character. Muppet-looking motherfucker.
Wasn't that
so,
dangerous?
Bob's
the way
Walls
you
also get a
guys
19 out of
Psychonauts
40.
used to explore
But I
the
gave it
world?
rank 8. You'll know
Seeing
last
that
time. So
old
whenever there's a
astrolabe
tie, I just
really
choose which one I
inspired
like
me.
more.
I'm going to make tiny.
So Bob's
personal
Bottles,
sized
I gave it.
astrolabes to
Both
help
have
people
it
make
and
small
Halls. They have a 19
cosmetic
out of
changes
40.
to their personalities,
And
like how an
I gave it the
injectable
8th place because I like
neurotoxin
Bob
removes
more than
wrinkles,
Hollis.
but
I think he's a
for the
better character. I
mind.
think he's got more going on.
I don't think it's a good idea to remove
Versus
your mind's
Hollis,
wrinkles.
who's
That's
like
because
the
you're a
cookie
kid.
cutter, try-hard
Trust me,
business
by the
lady
time
who
you're my
only knows
age, there will
business.
be plenty of wrinkles in that mind of
Bob
yours
at
you'll
least
be
has some
happy to
depth.
get rid of.
I wouldn't care if we ever saw
Happy to
Hollis
force
again.
that?
I would like to see
You know,
Bob
I
again.
missed that old
Ideally
abusive
with
so-and-so.
some subtlety.
You need a guy around like that to
So that's
keep
number 8.
you humble.
Shoot. Okay, number 7 level we were just on Fatherland
It's
Follies.
just something Ford keeps telling
For
me.
level design / concept, I gave it a 7.
Weird
Or no, I
seven
didn't. I gave it a
old
5.
friend Lucy
What did I say? Oh, because it's
No,
number 7. I gave it a 5.
was the one who brought Lucy here the
I
first
said, being
time,
honest,
so I
the,
feel
I mean,
a
honestly,
little
yeah, the level just
responsible.
isn't that
Really?
impressive.
No, not much. It was all
It
Ford's
feels very much like a stage
What's
they
gonna
made
happen now with
because
Ford back?
they're going to
Going
now
forward,
tell
things
you the
will get
plot,
chaotic
and they're
and
going
we'll
to
lose
make
all
sure to
our
fill up
funding.
another 40
Well,
minutes so
that's
that the game
okay.
can be
I
whatever
have a
length it
backup
needs to be.
To tell you the truth,
You
I've
could
been
argue
fighting
it's
off
the
the venture
same with
capitalists
the
for
meat
years.
circus, but that's a much cooler, because that's really the final stage of the
Maybe you should
game.
get out of this lonely
Both of these
life.
stages. And I don't think it's
fine.
fair to even
I
try
have
and
my
compare
gadgets.
Fatherland
And a
Follies to the
pretty
meat
friendly crab
circus.
sandwich scuttled by.
It's like a bunch of little bubbles that connect to each. I mean, technically every level is just a bunch of little
Bye,
bubbles that
Otto.
connect to each other.
See you next time, kid.
But I just wasn't impressed. I think for the last level of Psychonauts, there should have been a lot more to it. I feel like it should have made you use all the powers, like anything, and it doesn't. So that's that. Yeah, it's just a tiny little world where they're going to do plot exposition and pull the villain out of their ass. For humor, I gave it a 4. I think everything with Lily being a fucking, like, barbarian is hilarious. And it'd probably be a higher ranking if not for some of the bad jokes. Like the joke just that it's a small world after all. Everybody hates that. It's so annoying. You break a record to stop the music 3 times. That should have been once. They have an achievement.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there's 2 things up here by the way. There's a side challenge marker. And this is, so when I was hearing the music, I think it was the radio, it actually was him. He's just on top. So we'll go ahead and get him. Creepy.
Making fun of me.
So there's that. And then it takes me a minute to figure out how to get up there. But I think I like try and jump on it for a while. And you'll see in a second. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what we do so that I can get back to the list. There's a little target on that lumberjack's back. that makes him spin around. See it? You just saw it for a brief second. There's like a stick. So if you shoot it, it spins around. So you ride his axe to get on that platform, then you spin him around, and then you ride the axe to get up there. And it actually takes me a couple tries, which is good because I need time to do this list. So back to Pipeline Follies. We had a 5 on the level design, we have a 4 on the humor. It would be decent humor, but it's like 3 jokes, and then Lily being cool, which is funny.
Okay.
The
let's see if
gameplay
you're straight thoughts
is a
around.
6. It has like, here I still haven't given the axe. I'm trying to see if there's like hidden dots. And then I forget you have to take it off to use your powers, which is why I'm like fumbling around like an idiot. So gameplay gave it a 6. And here, it's sort of the point I've been making. Gameplay-wise, every level feels
You don't
almost
wanna wear
exactly the
something
same.
like that for too long.
They're almost all 5s or 6s or 7s because nothing changes between the levels. You're platforming around, and I don't know. Normally that might not be a bad thing, but in this game, it's nothing crazy. It's fine. This level, it does have puzzles. It fucking uses the puzzles from goddamn Gloria's Theater, where you have to combine stages and sets in order to get to the stuff. But I did soul/memorability. I give it a 5. I will remember this level as the one that really made me think this was a Kickstarter game. It just, for some reason, it was the type of level where I was like, I feel like this level got added because, see, there you go, now I'm spraying it. And I try and jump on the edge because I'm still not getting it. But I'll figure it out. But very much like Shantae. And there I thought you were supposed to like jump on it and like use it as a thing to sling off of, but whatever. So yeah, it was like the last level of Shantae, where I was like, this doesn't really feel like a level. It feels like a level, but it feels like it was added because like the Kickstarter promised X levels, and so they had to make the X levels. So all in all, it ends up with a score of 20 out of 40, letting it eke out and be ranked number 7. We're halfway through the video, and I've got a lot to say. Alright, number 6. I'm gonna go fast. I might start ignoring everything in the video so I can get through this. Number 6 is Lobato's Labyrinth. I gave it a 7. I said unlike a lot of levels in this game, this mine is actually similar. This is what I would have expected out of all the mines. This is a Psychonauts 1 level in design, and I like that. I really like how it ends up becoming like a tooth version of the Brain Tumbler experiment. Humor, I give it a 5. The humor is from Dr. Lobato being crazy, and you know, the weirdness of the office slowly becoming like tooth-based. And what I put was, I gave it a 5 and I said, this is the amount of humor I expect from a Psychonauts level. And probably it was one of the funniest levels in the game, it would turn out. I'm trying to figure out what to do here, and I think I do get it. You're supposed to get and then like jump. Well, I messed that. So you get on the axe, and then you hop on those. There you go. There I go. Gameplay, I gave it a 5. It didn't get a 6 or 7 because it's the same gameplay as every other level, you just are able to do less. That's about it. And we are now ranked 99, which means that we've actually collected everything. Or no, we haven't. There's one more level to game.
No, not this again.
Right. And then Soul/Memorability, I give it a 6. I think it does a good job. For an opening level, it does a very good job of getting you back into Psychonauts. It very much feels like if Psychonauts 1 had to have an 11th level, this is what it would be. And that's a good thing. So I got 23 out of 40. That makes it rank 6. And I'm doing cuts. I think I moved like 1 foot before I cut there. We're going to talk to them, it doesn't matter. Does this want a cutscene talk? No.
Wait.
Not. Alright, number 5, we have Psy King's Sensori.
Not you, if that's what you're worried about.
Your
Level design
brother
/ coolness, I give it a 7.
ideas
The
about
level is
psychic.
very cool. It
Did you
also
know
makes my
that
eyes
psychic powers
burn.
don't come from drinking human
It would have
blood?
probably gotten like a
That
9 or an
yes.
8 in level design, except for the fact that while figment hunting, it took me an hour and a half to find those figments, most of which were right in front of me because I just couldn't see them on the background. And I think here we're going for the last creepy spot. He's actually in the spot we found earlier. He's up on that wooden platform if you just saw it over by the squatch. But anyway, so I gave it a 7 because it made me mad looking for figments. Humor, I gave it a 2 because again, it's not very funny. The joke is like, the only joke I could think of is that his little spirit stuff like grows an eye and then a beard and like a nose, like it's getting ugly. That's about it. I don't really remember any other humor in the stage, so I do not think it was very humorous. I guess they sound like him being like, oh wow, like what's a sense? But that also kind of like, that's not particularly funny. Yeah, see there, as you can see the radio bouncing. So what you actually do is you get on top of these rocks. Gameplay, I gave it a 7. So most of these have been 6s. This one's on the 7 end, and I would just say because as far as platforming goes, I think this was one of the better platforming levels. Go ahead and get it.
I think I know who's broadcasting that station.
Why do you need to take over everything I like?
Isn't he just done? That's just it. And then for some reason it explodes into a side challenge marker. I don't really get it. So now we're rank 100. Anyway, gameplay gave it a 7. Oh, and the only other thing I put was it could have maybe been an 8 for gameplay, but it felt like
Nice chart.
they put a lot of effort into like the first chunk, like the part with the eyeball man, and then the part with I think it was the tongue.
You want to tell it? Oh, I would.
And then it felt like they didn't, like they really like cheesed the one for I think it was hearing and touch,
Hi, Mom.
where they're just there's like an arena at the top of a tiny little thing and you fight in it, and then that's that one. There's nothing really to that one. Soul/memorability, give it an 8.
Now that you have lifted the
I said it's probably one of the more memorable levels just from the
Pointed
visuals.
out that it
It's also probably the most Double Fine level from modern day Double Fine with Jack Black. I also just liked, going back to Bob's, I liked
water axe.
I liked how they showed Psy King's attraction to Bob more than how they showed Bob's attraction to Psy King. I just felt it felt more natural. It was just sort of, there's a point where you just go like, oh, he's gay, like, cool, let's keep going. Versus Bob, where it's like, hey, look, he loves a man. And it's just like very over and over beating the drum in your face. I think the Psy King level was written better. Which is a shame because it came first. You think, well, whatever, doesn't matter.
You've taught me that sometimes you must
maybe other people like it. Or maybe they, I mean,
That's how we
Bob's.
learn.
But I like Psy King's version more. So this one ended up with a 24 out of 40. You know, solid. Rank 3. If you don't want to rank 4, you guys are getting mad at me a little bit. Because you'll notice also, like, if you're doing the math on what levels are left, it's like, we're kind of stacking things up. So number 4, we've got the Tome of the Sarcophagus / Lucretia's Lament. So I stapled the 2 levels about Lucretia together.
Dog washing.
So, what else?
For level design / coolness, I gave it an 8.
You've convinced me to avoid collaboration.
Tomb was short, and it was just the plot reveal, which was okay. It was kind of cool. It was a cool way to reveal it. The plot itself was not very cool. And then I liked Lucretia's Lament. I liked the Flea Circus a whole lot. So that's why it's getting an 8. I really liked the Flea Circus. I thought that was a good way to do like the not. Oh, and by the way. So we'll see there, you can still die from water, but now the water's actually protecting you, which I didn't know why it was still cute, but then I realized no one ever has his family knows how to swim, because they can't go in water. I don't know how they take baths. That worries me, but someone's actually going to say that. Well, we're going to go find Raz's dad, which takes me for fucking ever, but we do find him. He's up there. You might be able to see him. No, I can't see him from there. He's up at the top, but I think he's by the waterfall, and he's not by the waterfall, so I like go up there and then I leave. Anyway, I'm going to move past and stick to my list so I can get this all in one video. Because I've only got, 18 minutes left. Yeah, okay, go. Okay. Humor, I give it a 5. There aren't a ton of jokes in these 2 levels. This is some cool glitchy stuff. So this happens. Raz is having fun in the glitch. There aren't a ton of jokes, but there are jokes and they're decent. The Flea Circus stuff on Lucretia's Lament, or Lucretia's Lament, not Lucia. I was like, what am I saying wrong? I was gonna say like Lucrement or something like that. I think the Flea Circus did a very good job of balancing the seriousness that was gonna follow. I think it was a good way to sort of liven you up so that when the level goes down, you don't go down. So I give it a 5. Gameplay, I gave it a 5. It's not that impressive as far as gameplay. You pretty much, other than what you do at the flea circus, you walk forward, and there's plot exposition. That applies to both Lucretia's Lament. Oh, we're using the speed up here, which I can't imagine why else you would use this other than right here. But that's got some stuff to it, but everything else is you kind of like walk forward, you kill some enemies, and the plot tells itself to you, and that's it. Soul Such Memorability, I give it an 8. I think it was like the best emotional stuff of the game, and I will probably remember the flea circus more than anything in this game. Maybe. Other than our next contender at number 3, we have Compton's Cook-Off. Yes, some of you probably thought this would be number 1, but you're wrong. So for level design / coolness, I give it a 4. I said on one hand, the stuff they have is very cool. I do like all the cooking stations. On the other hand, it's a tiny stage, and you do it 3 times. So I'm not giving it that much credit. It doesn't add anything. You just do the stage more. So I don't think it was... The level design itself is cool, but it is not a whole lot of level. And the fact that you keep reusing it feels a little bit lazy. But not to call them lazy, that's just how it felt to me. Humor, 6. It's actually a funny stage. Puns about goats everywhere. And what I put was, I could check the LP. I don't think any of these stages were laugh out loud funny, but I think this one, it also wasn't laugh out loud funny. But there is comedic tones to this stage that I appreciate. This was a stage trying to be funny, and I very much appreciate that. And then Soul Such Memorability, okay, I lied, because I gave this a 9, and I think this is fair. It's weird because I'm reading a script and I'm fucking it up. I'm not going to redo a 30-minute recording. Fuck no. I think of all the stages in Psychonauts 2, I will probably remember the stage where you're in a cooking game show with plush goats the most. I think it's very memorable. So do the math, that's a 26 out of 40, which actually ties it with the Lucretia levels. But I gave this one the point because it is a single level, and I thought that accounted for something. Now we get to number 2. This one might give me some flack because number 2 I gave to the overworlds. So the Mother Lobe, the Quarry, the Questionable Area, and whatever the last place is called. I count those as one big stage. And that's because the level designs / coolness I give it a 9. They're not mines, but they're gigantic. And there is so much to do in them. I mean, like, one hub world, like the Mother Lobe is basically the same amount of level as the friggin' Compton's Cook-Off. And there's just so much in them, there's so many people to talk to, there's so much to do. I mean, watch this LP. This is like a 50 episode Let's Play. I'm gonna imagine 15 episodes are in Overworlds. I'd say that counts as a lot. And someone will be like, actually it's only 7. I'm like, oh well, it's healthy 15. You didn't see all the off-camera stuff. And I was thinking if, what's his face, Raz's dad was up here, but obviously he's not. So I give it a 9. Humor, I gave it a 7, because almost all of the jokes in this game are in the overworld. Which would make this the funniest stage other than maybe Compton's Cook-Off. Gameplay, I gave it an 8. This is your playground. You have all the... Whenever you get powers, you come back here to see what you can do. This is where you go nuts. You do things the way you want to do them. There's no walls, there's no constraints, there's no pointless enemies just getting in the way. So this is when I know where he is, so he's not here. But I am going to talk over their dialogue, so you can read it, but I got to keep going on this list because we only got 12 minutes left. The Soul Such Memorability, I give it a 5, because it's the overworld. It's not supposed to be that memorable. I'll remember the characters,
Nona now.
You know,
How can I answer that?
it is what it is.
She's at the
But I put
center
its
of so
blandness
many
is a
painful
feature of being
events.
overworlds, not a bug.
But in the end,
so that's
she might
fine.
be the one who
Which gives it
suffered
a
the
total of a
most.
29 over 40. So if you've done the math, you have
How you
figured out
doing?
what's number 1. That is the
Not quite
crawler
sure.
levels. I
many
combined all
things to
3 of them
think
because
about.
otherwise it would be like probably like 1, 2, and
Are
3.
your memories changing?
For level design /
Know
coolness, I
which
give it a
memories are
9.
mine.
I'm gonna go
I
horse.
have
I will have
memories
been
of
talking
my
for an hour
mother
straight.
from
That might be
before
why.
she died, and I miss her. But I also have a
These were all
lifetime
very
of
cool
memories
design
with
stages. Between the nastiness
It's
of
giving me a
cutting
bit of an
Ford's
identity
hair,
crisis.
the grossness of the bacteria in the shoes,
Tell me about your identity
and the chaos
crisis.
of the mailing room. I thought they were all very cool designs, even if I
Memories are
fucking hate that
stories we
mailing
tell
room.
ourselves about where we
Humor,
come
I gave it a
from.
6.
It's how we
It's solid
figure
humor.
out who
There's
we are.
jokes about hair cutting and lice.
Story
There's
I've
jokes
been
about
telling
being
myself
disgusting
all
in a
my
fight.
life
There's
is a
jokes.
lie.
Accept it. It's solid humor and it's solid Psychonauts
Are you
humor.
mad at Ford?
I don't like
feel
this.
tricked and confused. But that man, he's put himself.
I don't like it when
enough.
people forgive people just because they've had a bad time. I don't
What are
think
you
that's
gonna
fair.
do now?
I don't think that's
I
right.
think
But
I've got
that's
to
just
let
my
this
sense of
whole
justice.
mess simmer.
So anyway, humor
Mind
6,
while I
gameplay
focus on
7.
making some
As
stories
always, it's either a 6
for
or a
our
7.
family.
This was good gameplay, 7.
So,
And then
Is
Soul's
Nona
Memorability, I give it a 7 as
still in the
well.
family?
Well, she's still our blood.
It's
master.
memorable. It does a good job explaining
always
Ford's
will be.
perspective slowly. I
As
think
far as where
making
she'll
it 3
live
levels
now,
instead of 1 level
that's
was
up to her.
genius because there are
She's with
gaps.
Ford right now.
It's sort of the opposite of Bob's, where you do all
Trying
3
to
at once and
answer
you're
that
like
very question.
force-fed his entire life story.
what about the circus?
Oh, son, that's
Oh,
going to be
son.
something now. Your Quatos have some great water tricks we haven't used
So there
in
you
a
go.
generation.
So if you do the math, that actually gives the core levels a 29 as well, which ties them with the overworld, but the core levels get to win. You know, you can call them a
You feel like
30.
you're free of the water curse?
Oh,
so
yes,
excited.
I feel great about it now. Later
Yeah.
today, I'm thinking we should all go for a
Well,
swim.
learn how, yeah,
That little army fellow offered to give us all
there we
swimming
go.
lessons.
So we are going to learn how to swim. Maybe Psychonauts 3.
Okay.
So it gets the win though because it's actually a level, unlike the overworld.
I never mind talking to you.
So
Street.
So that's all the ranks of the
We
levels.
psychics
So
understand each other.
you know, I'll give my thoughts here, and then okay, yeah, and then we'll talk about my predictions. So my final thoughts: if you add up all the scores of all the levels and divide it by 4, get out of 100, you're gonna get that this game got a 57.5 out of 100. So Psychonauts 1, it was about like a 68.75, I think. So it was about 11 points higher than this one. And then when you compare the scores, the best level ranking I gave in this game would have tied for 4th and 5th in Psychonauts 1. 3rd and 4th place on this game would be right above 8th place. They'd be between 8 and 7 in my Psychonauts 1 list. And the rest would fall between Basic Braining and Olivia's Theater. And I would say this mostly rests squarely on the fact that I did not think this game tried at all to be funny. Or it tried in some places, but it definitely was not a comedic game like the first one. Almost every other level I can think of a joke. This game, there are stages where I could not tell you a joke. So the only thing we have left to do is turn in our stuff. All of our crap for the, whatever it's called, the scavenger hunt. And then we will be good. So we gotta go give the assets to Norma. So, what was I saying? The humor just isn't there. There's some wacky stuff, but there's a lot of not. I feel like the emotional beats of this game are force-fed to you. Psychonauts 1 is not a very emotional game. It's sort of a hero's journey. You're rising up. This one definitely has a lot more emotional beats on the way. And my big thing on that is in the first game, you are dealing with people who have real mental problems for a lot of the levels. They're not sad. They're not depressed, which is a real mental problem. But I mean, in Psychonauts 1, they're crazy. They're actually crazy
Get over
for all the
yourself,
last levels.
kid.
In this one, it's like,
It's just a
I'm
scavenger
depressed and I'm
hunt.
fat and I'm lonely. And then we make them feel better.
I managed to pull this out of the trash.
And we get our original costume back.
Why
Which
do you
actually gives
care
us a
so
bunch
much
of
for these
costumes.
old clothes, anyway?
I don't really. I just left a bunch of money in a pants pocket.
No, you didn't,
Because
because
you
I...
checked his pockets.
Liar.
Rank 102.
So we actually can change into a
That's
bunch of different outfits now in the bathroom. And we are the ultimate level in Psychonauts. We got 8 minutes left, so let me keep going. The only other thing about this game, as far as the changes, I didn't like the new characters because to me they don't look like they belong in Psychonauts. I I like the ugliness of Psychonauts 1. These characters are not ugly, they are Muppets. They are reject Muppet characters. And it just doesn't work. And here's me just going absolutely batshit with all the powers. We have infinite power use now that there's no game to play. Because they couldn't let you have it for the final boss. So those are my big things on this game. But what I liked, that we did keep most of the powers. I liked the exploration of Raz's and Curler's backstory.
Like
I thought the levels were interesting. I didn't think they were amazing, but I thought they were interesting. And I liked the gigantic hub world. I thought the hub world was way better than Camp Rock, whatever it's called. So it was, yeah, we can actually wear our classic, our circus undies, the suit from the first Dream, the first Mind, or the Psychonauts 2 outfit. What I didn't like for the game, there are way too many characters who do nothing. Hollis does so little. We introduce like the 8 kids who do jack shit. They show up like maybe total of 3 minutes of mattering. They're just sort of a waste. And then we introduce Raz's family, who I was the most interested in, and we do nothing with them. We bring in like 30 characters and then they do nothing. Like, what was the point? Like with the other camp kids, they're just victims to have. That's why the game needed them. People needed their brains plucked out. For us to say. That's it. This game, there's just a lot of baggage. Big wasted on characters who don't matter and aren't particularly interesting. Then we, another thing I didn't like is that other characters used to matter. Sasha, Mia, Lily, Oleander. They're not in the story. They don't matter. They're as side characters as the new side characters who don't matter. And I kind of wish they had had more to do this game. And I kill myself. Oh, no, I don't. Okay. I don't kill myself there. The powers being lamer, another complaint. The paper thing and the yank thing are the 2 powers, and I didn't find either particularly impressive. Like, I didn't forget 5 minutes. And then I was still rubbed really raw by the Bob's Bottles level. I really didn't like the game trying to tell me how to feel. I would rather feel how I feel and have the game succeed in making me do it, but not in telling me and forcing me.
What are you two gonna do now?
You know, give me the opportunity to feel for these characters. Don't make me. Like, stay here.
Lucy's okay.
Oh, I'm fine. Thanks to little Queepy.
Anyway, overall, I think this was a good game. I don't think it met all my hopes and dreams, but I don't think anything could.
Or else those bowling
To be
alley shoes
blunt,
are gonna sprout legs and walk away.
I think people will enjoy
I'd
this
also
game. I
love
think
to
this is
take
a
Lucy
good
to
enough
Whisper and
game.
Rock.
I do not think this is one of the greatest games ever. I will never play this game again. I will not have that interest like Psychonauts 1 to do it again. Not happening.
Okay.
And that's basically it.
Psychonauts, Agent
So real quick, we're going to look at my
I'm
predictions.
not sure,
We've got like
but,
3 minutes.
If I have any influence,
Alright,
we'll
so
get
for
back to
Psychonauts 2, my
basics.
predictions for things I
Exploring
wanted
the
to see
human
but
mind.
doubted would happen.
There's
Figments
still
being
so
more
much
visible
mystery
and
to
stationary. Very
explore
close.
there,
They
Rasputin.
were more stationary, but they weren't completely stationary. And on most levels, they were more visible. I put boss fights that feel like boss fights. I would say that is the one thing Psychonauts 2 did right. All of the boss fights are very good compared to Psychonauts 1. There's no shield to ruin
think
everything.
he'd talk to me?
I think my
It's
dad
pretty
left
good.
at the time.
I put Banjo-Tooie start, which meant keeping all your powers. We were very close. We kept most of the powers.
Well, I
They
hope
got rid of
both
some, and
are
I understand why they got rid of shield because it breaks the game.
I'll leave you two.
But so I pretty much
Stay
got
away from the water. Oh, sorry.
that. And then I put powers being more broadly useful. I don't think this happened. There's Psy Blast, there's levitation, and arguably there's like the fire thing, whatever it's called. Everything else is pretty much like, you know, when you need it, you whip it out. Then for my expectations, I put the Double Fine celebrities. We got Jack Black. I got that. I put it'd probably be more woke, and that they would scrub out the gypsy part of the gypsy curse. Pretty correct. We have homo psychonauts, we have gay psychonauts, which isn't a bad thing. It was just my prediction that we would. We got them. And we also technically got introduced to like our little psychonauts who have a range of races and all that jazz. And they kind of retconned the gypsy curse. They didn't really stop calling it a gypsy curse, but they did end up being, it wasn't a gypsy curse. It was a, I don't know what's happening to me here. I keep getting stuck in that one wall. But anyway. I put straight continuation from the previous game, ignoring the VR Psychonauts game, and I replied with pretty much, there are a few references to that game, but not a lot. And then I put in a teaser for another Psychonauts game. I'll give myself 50-50 on that. We have the, whatever Lobato is going to do, a return to the camp for some reason. Now, that may be a short game, that may be another VR game, I don't know. But that's a teaser for something. And then I put fears, things I don't want to see. One was Rasputin behaved more like an adult than a kid. I would say I was pretty correct here. A lot of his childishness was gone. And I don't know if I like that. There was no him being like, Or actually, I think he did do that at one point. There's just a lot less. He was less of like a taunting, brash kid.
Against me what that twisted little man said with my tongue.
Then I put that the wokeness I expect will remove the edgy humor of the game.
And please don't tell me about
I don't blame the wokeness for it, having played the game, but I will say the edgy humor was gone. So kind of correct. I put pointless cameos / references to the first game. This one made me happy. They didn't do it. They kept the game tight. They locked it down. They said, no, we're not going to bother. Great. And then I put removing the emotional trauma from the game because they will fear it'll trigger people. And I will say no. I don't think they did that. I think they did the right thing. You're in minds, they're going to show you that people have problems. And I appreciate that they didn't back down from that. You deal with people who are depressed, people who are stressed, and it's shown in their minds what that does. And I'm very respectful to Double Fine that they did not back down and choose to just be like, no, every mind's the milkman level. You know, because I think then it would have been, I probably would have laughed more, but I think the game would have been less substance. But there are 30 seconds left in this video, and that's all I've got to say. I think Psychonauts was a good game. If you watch this Let's Play all the way through and you think you'd like to play it, then do it. It'll be fun. I am Vocab Hawk. The video is wrapping up, and I will see you in the next Let's Play, which is World of Horror. You should have already seen one episode. It'll start up the day after this. But thank you all for watching, and now I'm going to do a sweet kickflip to end the episode. So see you next time, everybody. Vocab Hawk signing out. Bye-bye.